I was staring at my phone while my sister-in-law screamed at me through the speaker. You helped everyone else. Why are you destroying his future? My hand was shaking, not from guilt, but from the realization that my own family was asking me to risk my career for someone who couldn't even tell me why he wanted the job. And that's when I understood something terrifying. This was never about an internship. This was about entitlement. I work for a large organization. The kind with polished glass buildings, layers of approval, and a reputation that actually means something. Over the years, I've helped several of my nieces and nephews, not by giving them jobs, not by pulling strings, but by doing one simple thing. Getting their resumes into the interview pile. That's it. No guarantees. No promises. No magic button. And every single time, I made the same rule crystal clear. Backhand index pointing right, you reach out to me. Backhand index pointing right, you show initiative. Backhand index pointing right, you prove you actually want this. Most of them did. Some didn't get the internship. Some did. Life went on. But quietly, something changed. What used to be seen as a favor slowly turned into an expectation. And expectations rot relationships. Eric, my nephew, was graduating soon. I hadn't heard from him once. No email. No text. No call. Instead, I got a message from his mother, my sister-in-law. So, about the internship. Can you get Eric in? I paused before replying. Then I said what I always say. Eric needs to reach out to me himself. Days passed. Then weeks. Finally, a message popped up. Not a greeting. Not a question. Just, "Hey, my mom said to talk to you about the internship." I already felt the pit forming in my stomach. We spoke on the phone. Within 30 seconds, I knew. Every sentence was half finished. Every thought dissolved into filler words. Bruh. Fam. Like, yeah. I waited for substance. Why this internship? What field interested him? What did he want to learn? Silence. Then a shrug I could hear through the phone. I dunno. It's good experience, I guess. My jaw tightened. This wasn't nervousness. This wasn't anxiety. This was disinterest. So I gave him an out, and a test. If you really want this, write me a short note. Why you want it. What you do with the experience. Simple. Bare minimum. He said, okay. I didn't expect anything. 2 days later, an email arrived. I opened it. And immediately, I knew. Perfect grammar. Buzzwords stacked on buzzwords. Generic ambition. Zero personality. It read like 1,000 other soulless paragraphs scraped from the internet. Cold. Empty. Fake. I leaned back in my chair, rubbing my temples. Not because I was angry. Because I was disappointed. If he had sent me something messy, honest, imperfect, I would have respected it. Instead, he sent me nothing of himself. So I replied. Politely. Calmly. I can't put in a good word for something you didn't even try to do yourself. That's when hell broke loose. My phone lit up. Calls. Texts. Voicemails. Eric was furious. This is unfair. Nobody writes stuff like that anymore. You're holding me to impossible standards. Then his mom. Then my brother. Accusations poured in like acid rain. I was cruel. Out of touch. Power hungry. One sentence hit hardest. You're ruining his future. I stared at the wall while listening. Heart pounding. Jaw clenched. Because here's the truth no one wanted to hear. I wasn't denying him an opportunity. I was refusing to lie for him. My brother tried a different angle. He reminded me of my own past. How someone once gave me a chance. How I wasn't perfect. How times had changed. And for a moment, doubt crept in. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I should get Eric the interview, just so he could see what the real world expected. But then I asked Eric one last question. Why do you want this internship? Silence. Then. I dunno. That word echoed in my head. I dunno. And suddenly, everything became clear. I imagined the interview. The panel. The questions. The expectations. And I imagined my name attached to him. My reputation. My credibility. Years of work. All for someone who couldn't be bothered to care. That's when my resolve hardened. I wasn't being cruel. I was being responsible. So I said no. Firmly. Finally. Weeks later. I heard what happened. Eric applied on his own elsewhere. Got interviews. And failed. Hard. One recruiter told him bluntly. You don't seem prepared. You don't seem interested. The same words I had tried to protect him from. No one yelled at me after that. No more accusations. No more guilt trips. Just silence. And in that silence, something powerful happened. I felt peace. Not triumph. Not smugness. Relief. Because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't humiliation. It's letting reality teach the lesson you refuse to fake. Here's the truth. Opportunity is a gift. But effort is the price. And no matter how much you love someone, you can't care for them. They have to care themselves. If this story made you uncomfortable, good. That means it hit close to home. Smash that like button if you believe fairness still matters. Drop a comment telling us, was he wrong, or was this tough love? And don't forget to subscribe to Story X Daily. For more real, raw stories where justice isn't loud. But it's always earned.